Good evening. I'd like to call this Shelton Board of Education special meeting in person, Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. It is 6:06 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Yes. John Fitzgerald.
Here.
Amanda Kilmartin.
Here.
Kate Kutash.
Here.
Diana Meyer.
She'll be late.
Wait.
Okay. Patty Noonan.
Here.
James Rossetti.
Here.
Carl Rizzo.
Here.
Amy Romano.
Here.
Kathy Ulish.
Here.
And for the minutes, I recognize Ken Zaranich, Carol Pinozzo, Rick Belden, and Attorney Fred Stanley.
All right.
And Mary Loretti is on the phone.
Oh, and Mayor Loretti is on the phone.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you.
Hello? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
James Rossetti, motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by James Orenzetti, seconded by Carl Rizzo. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye? Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Agenda item 3, discussion and possible action with respect to the pending action by the Board of Education of the City of Bridgeport against the Board of Education of the City of Shelton, Board of Education of the City of Bridgeport versus Board of Education of the Town of Stratford and others, docket number FBT CV 20-6102288 may be discussed in executive session. All right. I believe I need a motion to go into executive session. Do you want to read that?
Okay. I move that the Board of Education enter into executive session for the purpose of discussion and possible action with respect to the action by the Board of Education of the City of Bridgeport against the Board of Education of the City of Shelton, the Board of Education of the City of Bridgeport versus the Board of Education of the Town of Stratford, etc., in accordance with the Connecticut General Statute, sections 1-225F, 1-231, and 1-200, parentheses 6, parentheses B. I further move that the following individuals are invited to attend the executive session: Superintendent of Schools Ken Zaranich, Finance Director Richard Belden, Attorney Frederick Stanek, and Chief of Staff Carol Pinozzo, and Mayor Mark Loretti.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second motion made by James Orenzetti, seconded by Kate Kutash. Any discussion? Sensing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. We will now be entering executive session. It is 6:09. Okay. We are now out of executive session. It is 6:34 p.m. and no votes were taken. All right. Mr. Orenzetti?
Madam Chairman, I move that the Board of Education settle the action entitled Board of Education of the City of Bridgeport versus the Board of Education of Trumbull, etc., docket NA-CV-20-610288, in accordance with the proposed release and settlement agreement, and to authorize Chairman Yulish to execute the release and settlement agreement. That's my motion. Second by Amy Romano.
Okay, motion made by James Orenzetti, seconded by Amy Romano. Any discussion? Sensing none, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you for your hard work. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and we are... All right. We are adjourned. It is 6:35. Attorney Stanek, thank you very much for your help with all of this. Mr. Orenzetti and everybody, thank you.
Madam Chairwoman, you're going to have
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting of the Shelton Board of Education to order. It's a regular board meeting, Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. It is 7:00 p.m. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
John Fitzgerald.
Here.
Amanda Martin.
Here.
Kate Kudash.
Here.
Diana Meyer. Patty Newman.
Here.
James Rossetti.
Here.
Carl Rizzo.
Here.
Amy Romano.
Here.
Kathy Dolish.
Here.
And recognized for the minutes, Ken Saranich, Carol Pinozo, and Rick Dalton. And Sanjana Jim.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Agenda item 2, approval of agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Motion made by Kate Kutash, second, please.
Second.
Okay, seconded by James Orizzetti. Any discussion? Sensing none?
This is the adjusted agenda.
Yeah, we have to approve.
Oh,
the
we have to
amended
approve the agenda, okay,
as well.
okay. All right.
Just recognizing her, there's no presentation.
Yeah. All right, so, all right, Jim, do you want to make the motion to approve the agenda to the consent agenda?
Yes, sir. Madam Chairman, James Rossetti, Vice Chairman, move to approve the consent agenda.
No, we have to do the addendum.
The addendum to the
Addendum.
board meeting. Okay,
Yeah.
we just want to make, yeah.
Move to approve the addendum to the board meeting on the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor? Oh, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. Now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, right? Okay, because we just did the addendum. May I
So
have a mo-
moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion made by Kate Kutash. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by James Orizzetti. Any discussion? Sensing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Item number 4, presentations and recognition. Is that you, Mr.
Yes, it is.
Superintendent?
So we have no presentations for this evening, other than just a public recognition. As many of you are aware, but I wanted to just formally say that at our board meeting, since this official announcement was made, I just want to recognize Catherine Burkholzer from Shelton High School as our Teacher of the Year for the 2000. Just with that being said, we will have, Catherine is on, I met with her today. She's working on her application for the state Teacher of the Year. So we'll be working over the summer. She's getting her convocation speech ready, which we plan on having convocation in the fall, which we're looking forward to. And at that time, we'll do our traditional recognition where she will receive her plaque. We'll recognize her at the board, but I just wanted to make it on the public record and this recognition and this honor bestowed on Catherine, Mrs. Burkholz.
All right. Agenda item 5, Student Board of Education Representatives Report. I have to tell you that our poor Sammy had a concussion. And he is unable to attend tonight, but we do have our wonderful representative to share what she needs to share with us. I don't know what it is, but you're on.
Well, Sammy and I wanted to thank all of you for the opportunity to be on the Board of Education with you guys. We think that the year it went really good. I had a really nice sophomore year, and I'm sure all the seniors did, and the rest of the Shelton High School, even online and in person, it all felt the same. It all felt natural by the end. And so we know that we have fulfilled our year this year, but we hope to work with you guys again next year and also in the future. So thank you guys.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. We dismissed on the agenda, motion for public comment section to be added to the agenda. So could I get a second to add a public comment section?
Okay, motion made by James Orizzetti and seconded by Kate Kuchash. Any discussion? Sensing none, all those in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? All right, motion carries. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Okay.
My name is Walter Dunn. My daughter, Audrey Dunn, is, I live in Deacon Falls. My daughter, Audrey Dunn, is going to be a freshman at Shelton High School this coming year. She's been in the school system all of her life since kindergarten. I'm going to remove this because
Yes.
I'm the only one wearing it. So thank you. Mr. Rossetti, you weren't here a month ago, that's what I understand. I gave a talk on mental health, and it really came from the heart. And it's still going to come from the heart. Some things I understand are Board of Ed policy. This is all relevant, I believe. Some things are really up to individuals to kind of put in place, such as the superintendent, sometimes it's the principals, sometimes it's the Board of Ed. So really where this exactly falls, that's not up to me to decide. I need this, what I'm about to say. Two things. In the past, we all know my stance on diversity. I mean, I was thrilled years ago when Sunnyside School had its first multicultural night. I thought I was just shocked. I mean, it was something I had in my head. And you know, I was on the PTO, and all of a sudden this is happening. And it was awesome. And it's, from what I understand, I even went the next year when I didn't have a student at the school. And just to go again, and because I wanted to see something happen at Perry Hill, which it didn't, but anyway, that's still a huge thing as far as I'm concerned, but that's not really why I'm here. I mean, my issue now, to an extent, is personal, it's personal when it comes to the kids, is mental health. And I'm not going to go through everything that I said for 5 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever it was a month ago. It is important to me. I believe that also some things to do with diversity and cultural appreciation. It could go forward. I mean, I always said that it would be really cool if Shelton Marsh in Pride New York in the Gay Pride Parade represented, because other schools have. It's not that wacky of an idea, you know, other schools do this. And I think it would really be something, not this year, it's not happening this year, but perhaps if it does happen next year with COVID and all, it'd be great. Now, I got this letter. Fantastic. I was never, I knew about for years, community service, but my child was not of that age. So I kind of just always had it in the back of my mind, this would apply. This is fantastic. I got this letter, as we all did, and I had no idea, under pre-approved organizations, there must be, what, 50 of them. This is really great. And again, going to mental health. Not every kid is in sports. Not every kid has an interest. A lot of these kids, unfortunately, as I said, have no interest. A lot of these kids, some of these kids, I'll say it again, as I did, really, and I share this with a lot of people. Some of them don't have a will to live, okay? I'm going there again, I know. But it's really important. This stuff is great. And I think the fact, from what I understand, that kids can start participating for next year, this summer even, is a huge plus, and it can give them something to do. Now, just a suggestion, just an idea. If I wanted my child, let's say, well, it's really up to her. You know, I'm a little controlling, but it's up to her. If she wanted to get involved in Shelton Trails, let's say, right? Or what's the other one? Shelton Lakes. For example, it's all here. Well, who to contact? I know this. Whoever did this put a lot of time and effort into this. But for example, like, what would be the next step? It's on the list. What do we do? You know what I mean? A lot of parents, kind of, including myself, sometimes we kind of need guidance. You know, like when you're building a bookcase. I mean, how do I do this? So basically, you know, maybe contact information or an email or a phone number, assuming they're all still active. Yeah. And this way, for many parents, and emphasize that, you know, in bold print, this can be done now. So this way, it can give kids something to do for the summer. And it can also, you know, obviously it teaches teamwork, it teaches self-esteem, and it can do a lot of really awesome stuff. And not every kid at 14, yeah, they can legally work in certain fields, but they're not really all good at necessarily.
1 minute.
So that's what I wanted to share, you know? I mean,
Thank you.
if we could just elaborate a little bit, just saying, I think it could really help kids get, I think this is great. I think it could really help kids get in the right direction. I appreciate your time, Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you for your suggestion. Okay. Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Now's your time. Okay, sensing none, we will continue on. All right, we have the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I'd like to just commend the board on their work and their action by passing the consent agenda this evening. We have balanced the budget and we are open for business effective July 1, 2021. So,
Yay.
I really believe it's exciting that we were able to mitigate a budget during this time, and it very much was a collaborative team effort. Bipartisan by this board, which I really want to commend their work for. We did receive an open up communication with the city, and I want to thank the city for their allocations that they gave us towards the budget, and the administrative team that really rolled up their sleeves and found the cuts necessary so that we can, and I can sincerely say, now that the budget's passed, we have zero layoffs. Zero layoffs. Everyone who's with us and that is the step in the right direction for Shelton. So kudos to Shelton. With that, we had a very successful end of the school year, extremely exciting. I loved all the end of the year celebrations at all the schools, tried to stop by and see as many as I can. I know we were all excited about bringing closure to this very dynamic year, but what was the cap moment for everything had to be the wonderful commencement we had at Shelton High School. What a way to end the year together as a community on that field as one, as I echoed it in the speech I did. What I decided to do, and I uploaded it early today, if you hadn't had an opportunity to hear the wonderful speeches by everyone who presented, from our students to our city officials, to just see the ceremony, it is now on our website. I uploaded it to our YouTube account and published it so everyone can enjoy that. What would normally be the superintendent's message for the duration of the summer until we return back to school, it'll be the commencement so people can hear the speeches and celebrate our students. I want to wish best wishes to our graduates of the class of 2021. We will miss them and wish them well as all of our retirees across the board in all bargaining units that are leaving, especially our admins that will be leaving us, John Niski, Dr. Smith, and of course, Mr. Belden, who will be doing his last board meeting, and we want to thank them for their service to the Shelton Public School System. So thank you. We were very excited to start the new year. We had our all admins meeting yesterday. There was a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of forward thinking, and I think it's going to be a great year. We just can't wait to begin it. But I do want to discuss with the public and for public record, as we plan for next year, our return to school plan. As many of you are aware, we posted a return to school plan based on a template that the state of Connecticut offered to all school systems, and it's posted on our website. With that being said, I would just like to clarify that particular template and the stages for everyone so we understand the process in which we have to do a return to school plan. Currently, publishing our plan on our website with a due date of June 23rd. All school districts in Connecticut were told that they need to fill out this template provided by the state of Connecticut and post it on the website by June 23rd in compliance to receive federal funding with the American Relief Plan. For us to be eligible to apply for the American Relief Plan, which I attended the first webinar today to start the process of the application process, now that we did meet that obligation, and we will receive as a result of completing the application process $4.5 million from the federal government. There was a requirement that we had a return to school plan. Why that is essential, and so for understanding of everyone, this is federal money. There are states in our country that have not returned back to school. Connecticut is not one of them. As you can see, what our commissioner, Miguel Cordona, did in putting Connecticut back in school brought him to Washington, D.C. as the Secretary of Education, and now he's trying to make that movement across the nation to make sure all states and all districts across the country return to school. So to be eligible for the federal funding, every school district across America needed to produce a return to school plan. Connecticut has not left school. We are still in session. So the State Department of Education wanted to make this process easier for the local districts by developing a template so we can meet our federal obligation. That template was completed with collaboration from our COVID Operations Committee here at the district level, and it was intentionally left vague. There is vagueness on the return to school plan because we are obligated to post it by June 23rd, all right? But we have still yet to receive any guidance from the State Department of Education, from the State Department of Health, or the Naugatuck Health Department on any mandates, if any, that they would be putting on the return to school. So we do not know at this time what returning to school in the fall may or may not look at. If you do read the plan as it's written, it does talk about if mandated, if required, these are the things that we would be obligated to do so that we met the template obligations. At this current time, we are planning for a full, as normal can be, opening of the 2021-22 school year. That is the plan. We would not have the authority to override any state or Department of Health mandates that would be required of us. I know that there have been possibly school districts as well as private schools who have come out publicly and said, we're not wearing masks in the fall. I can stand in front of you as a superintendent and say, we're not wearing masks in the fall. But 1 month later, if the State Department of Education or the Department of Health says you're wearing masks in the fall, then I have to take back my words. So instead of misleading the public, I want to be transparent and let them know our plans are to open school as normal as we can be, waiting for guidance from the State Department of Ed and the health departments. So that's where we are with this process. I also want the public to know that as a superintendent, superintendents are in professional organizations called CAPS, the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents. Because the group is so large, it's regionalized. Shelton is in the Southern Fairfield County section. So I am with all the Southern Fairfield County superintendents. We meet this year on a weekly basis, it's not a monthly basis. So we because of the dynamic of this year, we met on a weekly basis virtually. We had our end of the year meeting together just a few weeks ago. We collectively, as a group of superintendents from the Southern Fairfield County, will be publishing a letter to the State Department and the Department of Health requesting that there will be no mandates on the local public school system. We want people to be safe. We want students to be safe. But we want to allow people the options of choosing how they'd like to be safe. We don't want to be mandated and make people feel uncomfortable. We want to make a school environment that is welcome to everyone and that is safe. And one of those aspects is having options and parameters around safety as opposed to mandates. So that is the position that the Southern Fairfield County superintendents are taking with the State Department, but yet we are just one voice in this entire state, and that decision will be made by the State Department and dictated to us come the end of the summer. When that information is released to the local districts, it is my intention to immediately develop a return to school plan for Shelton and publish that ASAP to our families so we know what school would look like when the students return this fall. With that being said, that is my superintendent's report.
Thank you. That clarifies things very well. I hope people realize that we're doing everything. We want to keep kids safe, that's our goal, but we're doing everything that we need to do and we're following the orders that we're getting. Okay, oh, that's me. Comments by the board chair, as I'm rambling on. All right. First, I'd like to extend thanks and appreciation to our superintendent, chief of staff, finance director, and administrative staff for their dedicated efforts in resolving and finalizing our budget for the 2021-2022 school year. Their many hours of concentration and focus to constructively and creatively crunch the numbers to meet the final appropriation by city officials was beyond our expectations, especially being accomplished within the designated time frame. The strengths of this newly reorganized team needs to be acknowledged and commended. I also want to offer thanks to Mayor Loretti, Attorney Fred Stanek, Superintendent Saranich, and fellow board member James Orzetti for the many hours of meetings and calls expended to bring a final resolve, hallelujah, to a settlement of our lawsuit with the City of Bridgeport Board of Education. Through their combined efforts, we can now proceed into the 2021-2022 school year with focus on education and issues addressing the social, emotional learning of our student population. Additionally, I offer thanks to the Bridgeport Board of Education and the City of Bridgeport for working with us in finalizing the settlement. Another note of gratitude is extended to Principal Riddle and her leadership team, Director of Commencement Jen Mesha, and the executive graduation staff, Lynn Coffin, Karen Giordano, and Lauren Kovarsi, right? For the wonderfully planned and well-organized 2021 graduation. It was truly a night to remember, to celebrate and remember. Thank you. And lastly, I offer appreciation to all of our Shelton Board of Education employees for their exceptional dedication, support, and resolve in providing our kids with the best opportunities for learning and surviving in this year of so many bumps and twists, struggles, and uncertainties. On behalf of all of our board members, I wish everyone a safe, healthy, and enjoyable summer, which you're so deserving of having. Thank you. Okay? Now, reports of standing committees. Teaching and learning. Hi.
We did not have a meeting in June because we had a late meeting in May. So that is why we didn't have one. I think we already knew that. So I gave my May report really at the last meeting.
Okay.
But I did talk to Director Kristen Santilli and found out some exciting news that Wits and Wisdom material has been arriving in pallets. That some administrators and staff has already started doing some training, and the rest of the staff will be training in the fall, as you know. So that is at least some good news to share. And our next scheduled meeting is for July 13th.
August.
So we have to figure out what's happening in the summer for meetings.
Okay.
To be determined.
To be determined. Thank you. Finance Committee? Mr. Rossetti?
I'm already tired.
Okay. You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay. Well, I didn't really write anything up. We had a finance meeting last night. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I didn't write anything up because we just had a meeting last night, so the minutes will be available shortly. But I would like to thank Mr. Belden for his cooperation in what was one of many of my priorities when I first got involved, and that was settling, getting back our reimbursables was a main thing. We went at that for quite a while, and I'd like to thank him for a job well done. And I'd also like to thank the cooperation I received from the City of Shelton, in particular Mayor Loretti, in the settlement of the Bridgeport school settlement, which was a tremendous relief off of
Our backs.
well, our backs, particularly my back, and Kathy's back, and the superintendent's back. And I'd also like to thank my, I'm doing a little thanking here, but I'd like to thank my vice chairman for backing me up on a lot of things, Carl Rizzo. We forgot to mention him, Kathy, that was one thing I noticed. But
Mayor Colco, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Carl and John Fitzgerald, the past finance chair. But that was in one of my my main goals in getting back on the Board of Education was to settle quite a few things in Bridgeport, and pretty much I think I've just about crossed off the last one.
Thank goodness.
So with that, with the minutes of the finance meeting will be available once our secretary has the time to print them up, and they'll be online. So we just had a meeting last night. It was moved due to graduation, which was awesome. And thanks everybody, for my fellow board members, for doing that tonight. That was awesome, and waiting. I know I put you through a little bit, but thank you. Thank you to all my board members, fellow board members.
Okay. Policy. Mrs. Kutesh, we had no policy. We had nothing to report, and our next policy meeting will be in August. All right. Buildings, grounds, and transportation. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Madam Chair, last night we had a subcommittee meeting, Building Grounds, and we went over several projects at all the schools, which are gonna start during the summer. The major one, Shelton Intermediate roof repairs, Sunnyside oil tank, the alarm panels at the Elizabeth Shelton Intermediate School. And all those, there's probably 5 or 6 more major ones. Those are all in the minutes of the meeting, ongoing from the last several meetings. The major items that we addressed were the transformer, which went out to bid, came back and was approved. And I think if the Board of Alderman meeting is tonight.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
It's on their agenda.
Yeah.
It's being taken out of the board bond allocation account for the Board of Aldermen.
Right.
I confirmed that today with Paul Hiller, the city finance director. It's on the agenda.
So we're told that's gonna be approved, and that's gonna start as soon as possible. For our transformer, the gym floor, had several discussions about either altering, replacing, or repairing the floor. That's been ongoing. Mr. Calhoun had discussions with the mayor today, and we're still trying to figure a path forward to get it accomplished, hopefully this summer. So we've got specifications out, we've got vendors calling in for different alternatives. So that's ongoing. Transportation, Ricky, you had mentioned last night that we're just about ready to do the contracts with Tyler Technologies for the migration and so forth.
Through the chair, all the paperwork's been completed. We have a meeting scheduled for 1 o'clock tomorrow with the project manager from Tyler Technologies to do a kickoff meeting for the implementation over the summer. Representatives from Shelton Student Transportation Services and the Board of Ed will be attending that meeting. It's a Zoom meeting. I anticipate it being about an hour, and they'll lay out a timeline for what has to be done and by who to have us be successful in starting the school year with the new software. For the members of the public, it's a web-based online product. It's got a lot of features and functions I think will be very beneficial to our parent population. Things like being able to go in and see where a student bus stop is and what the approximate arrival and departure times would be. There is a capability to have GPS and ability to have it on your phone so you can see where the bus is. So there's a lot of good features and functions in this product, and obviously we'll be rolling those out as appropriate.
Great. So that is the bulk of the transportation, because that's going to upgrade us tremendously for the start of the school year. So thanks, Ricky, for that. And that is the building grounds transportation report. I see you looking at the clock.
I have a goal tonight.
I know you do.
Reports of liaison, CES.
Yes, CES Representative Council met on June 3rd. They announced appointments of Eric Nyquist as the new principal of Regional Center for the Arts, replacing retiring Mark Ribbons, and I may have the first name wrong, Ivelisse Guzman, coming from the Carolinas, as the Director of School Readiness. They do report a deficit, well, a loss for the year of over $2 million, but half of that went towards the purchase of their new space, which Mr. Saranich and I attended the ribbon cutting on June 7th, and it is in Bethel. It is quite an impressive building with a lot of space. It will house a performing arts program this summer and has a lot of possibility in the future. Other things of note are the fact that their special ed program graduated 15 graduates in person. And at the 6 to 6 school, they are proud of the fact they will have 2 year-long paid teacher residents. I finally got to explain, it's like a doctor residency. They're working, they're getting paid, and these are from minority groups. One is in the pre-K, and I didn't write down the other grade, but they have 2 minority residents working at 6 to 6 next year. And those are the highlights of a lot of things they spent time.
Thank you, Mrs. Kutash. Kate.
Yeah, Kate is pretty quiet as far as the summer goes. The only thing that they're putting out is a summer leadership conference in August.
August 5th or something
Yeah,
like that.
there's no monthly webinars or anything like that. So,
Thank you very much. For your information, you have vacancy reports, staff and stipend actions, enrollment report. Before we go on to celebrations, this is actually part of a celebration. I received 2 letters that need to be read. Dear Mrs. Yolich, I would like to offer you my most sincere thanks for the distinction of being awarded the CAVE Student Leadership Award. It is such an incredible honor to be recognized by the town in which I have resided my entire life. I appreciate your generosity and kindness in giving me this award so greatly. Throughout my high school career, I have worked hard to distinguish myself as a leader and use my voice as much as possible. And it feels wonderful to be recognized and appreciated for my efforts by my school and city. I will continue to lead and trailblaze with pride, using the lessons I've learned throughout my experiences at Shelton High School, at Boston University this fall, studying for my BS in advertising. I hope to work on campaigns for meaningful and groundbreaking products, adding more representation of people of color, larger bodies, and people of all genders to the media. I thank you once again for this honor. Sincerely, Lainey Roberto. And then I got one from Robert Quevedo. Dear members of the Connecticut Association of Board of Education, thank you for choosing me to be a recipient of the CAVE Student Leadership Award. Receiving this award means a lot to me because it shows me that I have been successfully developing leadership skills over my high school years. In the fall, I will attend Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute to major in aerospace engineering. Oh my goodness. Rensselaer has one of the top aerospace engineering programs in the country, and I am fortunate to have the opportunity to attend. Organizations that give out awards like these are greatly appreciated. Once again, thank you for naming me a recipient of the CAVE Student Leadership Award. Sincerely, Robert. And I received those two, and I had to read them out because personally, I did not give them that award. It came from CAVE, and I believe the counselors or the students were picked in a certain way. But thank you for the thank yous. It means a lot to us too, dearly.
Madam Chair,
All right, celebrations.
should we put back in the agenda communications to the board?
I think we will.
Yeah, because there are things that got lost when we were virtual for so long.
Right.
You gotta shake off the dust.
Yes, like that in public session.
Okay, with that being said, celebrations. Who's going first?
I have
You want?
one. Well, I have one.
Well, I gave out several, so.
Well, I have one. that's-
Okay.
Are you ready to go?
Yes,
Okay. So I received a phone call from Susan from the American Heart Association. A woman that I have not met. We're scheduling a meeting through the summer, but she wanted to call, and I thought this was so timely. I just received this call yesterday, and that we have a board meeting to celebrate because they are so honored of the work of the Shelton Public Schools. As you know, in our schools, we do the jump rope for heart and hoops for heart, and we have recognized individual schools, but here's the rundown of the list. She went through it. Booth Hill School, this is all the money that they raised. Booth Hill School, $11,000. Elizabeth Shelton School, $13,000. Long Hill School, $10,000. Mohegan School, $20,000. Shelton Intermediate School, $3,500. Sunnyside School, $9,000. A totaling for the American Heart Association, $67,000. Wow. That Shelton Public Schools. And as a note, Susan represents for the American Heart Association. It's regionalized her position. So she works with, she said, Greenwich to Old Saybrook. And Shelton was #1 in the fundraising.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I'll go, but I'm glad you went first. All right, so I was not able to attend this, so I have the honors of thanking. Hooray for our BOE members who banded together to assemble, alphabetize, and put up 300 signs for the graduates of the class of 2021. The work was completed during the 2 hottest days of the year, but the task was truly one that they were happy to do.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I'll go.
Okay, Mandy.
All right, so the last month of school, a lot of things going on. Just a shout out to all of the recipients at Shelton High School who received book achievement awards, as well as the World Language Honor Society inductees, and we
than $250,000 in scholarships to more than 125 seniors.
Wow.
So congratulations to all of them. I just want to echo Mrs. Yolish's sentiments about graduation. It was so nice to be out on the field with everybody together. It was one of those events that it was sort of rare these days, where it's all just about celebrating and, you know, enjoying each other's successes and all good feelings coming out of that. So I really, congratulations to all of our seniors. And last but not least, since it's Mr. Belden's final meeting, thank you. I know that I don't think there's anybody in this room who would disagree that the Shelton budget is something that's easy to manage, and that those relationships can be difficult. So thank you for doing it over the last couple of years.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Diana?
sure. I'm going to congratulate the SIS Communications Technology teacher, Dennis David. He's the team broadcast consultant for students Daniela Berry, Marissa Manzo, Ethan Oko, Patty Larkin, and Olivia Jansen. They received a Fox 61 honor for broadcasting a clip about center stage. And the Connecticut Creative Futures Award includes $1,000 for their school. Wow, that's awesome. I want to echo Mandy as far as work goes. Coming into, I think it was last year in 2019 when we were elected, when you had 6 new board members asking a lot of questions. I hope we didn't send you over the edge of retirement, but if we did, may it be a nice one.
Yeah. Okay,
I've got one.
okay, Kate?
Bravo to SIS teachers, Eric Napoli,
Erica.
Erica,
Erica.
and Anthony Tartaglia for their awesome rendition of Beauty and the Beast. An amazing group of talented students who we're sure we'll be seeing in future Shelton High productions.
Yes, excellent. It was wonderful. And I think we have one more.
Yeah, well, it was my honor. Hello, is this working? Is this working? It was my honor, and it is certainly worth repeating, but really, from the bottom of our hearts, best wishes to our finance director, Rick Belden, who will be leaving next week. Tonight will be his final meeting, and we hope he enjoys the best that retirement has to offer. Thanks, Rick.
Quick sports.
Okay.
Sports report. Kathy mentioned at graduation we have the fastest
Yes.
100 meter, 200
Right.
meter in the state, and that is John Laurent. Jason Laurent. So that was my sports report for the month.
And that sports have started, and it's 6 a.m. football already.
Okay. The parents
6
getting
a.m.
up,
football.
that's exam football too.
But that's a great thing,
I
because
used
the
to
kids
have
are
to take
playing
my-
football.
I used to have to
They're
take
back.
my son
And
to
Deanna
basketball
loves that.
practice at 5
And Deanna
o'clock in the
loves
morning.
it. Was there, yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how many people follow Facebook, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that one of our graduates, Dan Orlowski, participated in our camp for the kids. I knew Dan when he played Pop Warner football as a 10-year-old, and I can still picture him. It's a true story, telling us how he was going to play in the NFL someday. And along the way, he did everything possible, and he was a class act. And I think it's really nice he came back to help our kids out and show them how it's possible to be successful in this world. So I'd like to recognize Dan.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yes, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Well, since I'm one of the oldest guys here, and I know Ricky the longest, and took a lot of crap from him when I was a little kid. I just want to say thanks for all the mentoring you did for us when we first got on the board, and it's been a real pleasure. You're a real gentleman, and you put up with a lot of stuff from us, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, guess what, everybody? My goal was 7:45. It is 7:40.
Well done, Mrs. Yolish.
Good night and aloha.
Yes.